We are happy to have you today for Faces of Malaysia. So we are here in your recently opened bakery. You born in Malaysia, but at 7 years old you went in Singapore, then in Europe. Can you tell us a bit more about your journey?
Thank you for having me. And yes, at 7 I left Malaysia when I was a kid, and my parents sent me to Singapore to start my education in primary school, and then later I went through secondary school in Singapore, and I spent I think 13 years in Singapore. My first trip to Europe, it was in Germany, and I came back again to Asia. I actually didn't know what I want to do yet. At one point I was working for a cafe, and I was doing some customer service over the counter, that kind of thing. But eventually I was always in the kitchen. Yeah, always in the kitchen, doing the tartelette, put in the crème pâtissière, and then put the fruits and everything with the older ladies in the kitchen, and having fun, talking, joking, and making tartelette. Okay. Yeah, tartelette. And one day I said to my son, I said, well, this could be a way to look into my future. So, and where else in this world other than France, right? So I went to l'ambassade de France, French embassy in Singapore, and they have a department during that time, like somebody from the national service, the CV. No?
Yeah.
And I showed him my results, and this is what I have, and I said I would like to go and pursue a language course, you see, and then eventually hoping to get into a professional courses over in France. So he said, oh, okay, let me contact a few universities for you. So he contacted in Université de Pau,
yes,
Université de Caen, et l'Université de Grenoble. Yeah.
Finally, it was Caen.
It was Caen. Finally, it was Caen. So I don't know what is Caen.
That's not the most glamorous place in France.
It was Caen. One day there was this exhibition on artisanal craft trade. So specializing on boulangerie, pâtisserie, you know, and then there were schools, and you can speak to the people, how much is it, that kind of thing. So I went to one of the school in Paris, and then I did my CAP in pâtisserie, chocolaterie, glacerie, and confiseur.
And you spent more than a decade in France. How was life there?
Oh, life was, I would say, amazing. It was a great experience because I'm working with French people in the field of culinary, in cooks and kind of stuff, yeah.
And then you came back to Malaysia. You worked for a company, but you didn't have at that time the idea, oh, I'm going to open a bakery.
No, I didn't have. I was having the idea of having a bakery in rural France, in one of the kampong in France. Yeah, you know, or get a space, you know, to do some thing and then put into the truck, because in kampong, you know, in France, a lot of places are empty, and it's cheap to operate there, and then you buy a truck and then you just go into, like, you know, the marché to another village, that kind of thing. And while I was working in France, the only contact I had with Asia was with the Malaysian embassy in France, in Paris, because I have not grown up in Malaysia. My first adult encounter with a lot of Malaysians is in the embassy of Malaysia and the association that we created in France. So I met fabulous people, and that part of that relationship it's impacted me a lot.
Why?
or because of the warmth of the, like they will celebrate those festivities like Pesta Gawai, whereby before I in my vocabulary, what is Pesta Gawai? I don't even know. And there were like Chinese New Year celebration. We will book a restaurant, we're owned by the Malaysians, and then we'll do things together, the community building. One day, and then the ambassador said, you know, our former Prime Minister, so Dr. Mahathir is coming to town.
Okay.
Yeah, would you like to assist me, you know, in the preparation and the serving and then everything? I said, oh wow, okay, you know. When there was a Q&A question, there was a little girl, and there was one, she asked a question, there was many questions, but that one particular question just hit me. The question was to Dr. Mahathir, you know, what would your ministry do to entice, she uses the word entice, like, you know, like come home to serve the country, or maybe they have their loan to pay back or whatever, I don't know. He said, well, you guys are the elite students that managed to work so hard, so well. If you think after your education you found, you know, a good husband, well, it's your life. If it is a good husband, you should stay. You should stay. If you know you're a good life, if you have a good job, you know, it's your life, you should stay. So after that, well, okay, just question nothing. Then he took a pause, and he said, one little phrase, tapi kalau you anak Malaysia, okay, you know, if you are a child of Malaysia, okay, you should know where your heart be.
Malaysia.
You know, and that just came and gripped me straight away, and it was an emotional feeling. Okay. And then that night I went home, and in France, and I looked at my passport. I've been holding a Malaysian passport all my life, but I have never knew Malaysia. So I decided to pack my bags
and go back.
And go back home. I found a corporate job in a big industrial bakery ingredients and additive company. And I came back to Malaysia because they have an office here. So, and I was working for 7 years in the company. Then my father fell ill, and then I had a sabbatical break for a while, you know, to take care of my dad. And it was this time that I discovered...
At the time you live in Jalan Ipoh.
Yeah, I live in Jalan Ipoh, yes. And then I went for a stroll, you know. I just took a bus. I went into a bus, and I took the bus down to Chow Kit. And then behind a bus stop, I saw Indian flour mill. I was, you know, to me, living in France for so long, seeing a flour mill, it's like, you know, it's a big thing, you know, it's a big thing. But I said to myself, and I said, a flour mill in Jalan Ipoh, what are they milling, that kind of thing? So I went inside to the flour mill and realized they are milling, because it's a very loud process, you know, because it's a stone mill, that kind of thing. So I said, what are you milling? Then he said, atta. I said, what is atta? You know, what is atta? So he went out and then he showed me this. And I looked at it, oh, it's like wheat grain, dublé. I was like, wow. So I bought 3 kilos, and I went back to start a culture, and it successfully to have bubbles, and I saw, you know, so I took up my Bible and I said how to create my own sourdough culture. So I managed to cultivate this active ingredient called a sourdough starter, and then I just applied in my regular bread recipe, and bam, I have this bread in Jalan Ipoh, coming from here, the flour from Malaysia, the water from Malaysia, the salt from Malaysia, the atta flour starter also from Malaysia. It's everything, it's in my hand, and I look at it. It has a reference of what I've experienced in France. I taste it, it's the same experience. So, sakole pam.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
But I have a question. So you opened your first bakery in Jalan Ipoh, the second one here in Kampung Gatap. That's quite unusual place to open bakery in KL. You could have choose like area like Damansara or Bronxa, I guess. Why did you do this choice, make this choice?
Oh, because I didn't think.
Okay.
Because I didn't think. Voila, very simple. I didn't think. I need space. I need space to house the oven. So where else, you know, rather than anywhere else below my house, because it's a arduous job where you have to be there looking at it, kind of thing. Right. So I don't want to travel. I don't know I don't know if this will turn into work or not, but I need to continue. So I I rented a space below my house. I live in Jalan Ipoh. So a friend's brother owns the shop. So he gave me a very good rent, and then I said, well, this is perfect. It's not too big. It's just enough. So I placed my oven there. I bought my little 3,000 ringgit mixer, you know. And then I started to mix and make more bread and kind of thing. And it was so happy making. The reaction was when they look at this piece of loaf, they just said, ini dalam apa? You know, it's like, what is inside? So I look at the miche of bread. I was like, he asked, what is inside? Then, you know, I reply, oh, it's empty. It's in Malay, it's like, it's kosong. Okay. So it's kosong. It's empty. There's nothing. It's not filled. There's nothing inside the bread. So, and nobody buy the bread because apparently there is nothing in the bread. So I understood. One phenomenon is that, you know, they want something in the bread. So I started to slice it and then turn it into sandwiches, and then I just said, oh, ini dalam ada chicken, or there is beef in here, there's egg in here, that kind of thing. Ah, okay. So I just started to sell like a composed sandwich and sell.
And finally, you left Jalan Ipoh, you rebuilt everything to come here in Kampung Atap. And how is the, how it goes?
I had a friend, okay, he used to be my customer, and he's a musician. He said, you know, I would like to convert my profession. And I said, oh, this is very brave, because I somehow also like had a conversion in my life. So I said, let's, you know, start a business together. And then we explored, and then we found this beautiful courtyard. Today we are talking here, and then I said, well, this is my chance to start a second one, all new again, all refreshed again. Since I already had a certain reputation in my bread journey, I have decided to go back to how I wish I would have started, only with pain au levain. Okay. Levain, pain au levain, two kind of cereals, wheat and rye bread. So I'm very, very blessed that I know I have opportunity to be sustainable in Jalan Ipoh, because it's just like, you know, you just have planted bread in the rice field like that, you know. And thank you to Malaysia, and I'm glad that, you know, I came back as knowing the fact that it's important. Suis un enfant de la Malaisie.
So you're a child of Malaysia. Thank you very much, Tommy.
Merci.